Good morning, Elmwood. I am Lauren Wilson, and welcome to Breaking News. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing Ms. Michellene Davis, the President and Chief Executive of the National Medical Fellowships Incorporated. Ms. Davis, how are you feeling today?
I feel wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. You have been listed as a top healthcare leader. How has this impacted your life?
I think being listed may not have necessarily impacted my life. I think doing the work in order to be listed and recognized for that work has impacted me a great deal because it provided me an opportunity to have entrance into certain spaces where I'm able to advocate for others to make certain that they are included as well.
Everyone deserves to be included. Ms. Davis, you're the first African American policy counsel in New Jersey. How did that make you feel?
That was a distinct honor and pleasure. The fact that I now have this blessed resume, but really I started as a little brown girl from Camden, New Jersey. And so for an individual to come from one of our most vulnerable populations, a community that has been marginalized and kicked to the margins, to be in a position where you were literally able to help lead the state's policy agenda was a distinct high honor.
Very honorable, and that's wonderful. Can you recall any of the policies which came to your desk that really sparked your interest?
Yes, there are so many. Oh my goodness. One in particular that I will mention is the fact that we were in a very tight budget season. At the time, the New Jersey budget was about $75 billion. And as a result of that, we were actually on the verge of a budget shutdown. And we had to figure out, so what were going to be the emergency services that would continue once the state was actually shut down. I was able to ensure that there was a policy whereby the food banks would be recognized as such an emergency vehicle for the community members who needed that assistance the most.
It's like the story in the Bible when Egypt almost went into 7 years of hunger. Your work focuses on making healthcare more equitable and accessible. Why is it important for young people to be concerned with health equity?
Because it is literally about how we receive healthcare throughout our entire lives. Young people should be especially interested in it, quite frankly, because yes, it is about them, but it is also about their mothers and fathers, their sisters and brothers, their grandparents, and everyone that they love the most. Health equity ensures that everyone has a chance to grow up healthy and strong, not just those who can afford the very best of care, but for everybody. Health equity is that which ensures that as we look to treat patients and communities and families that are in them, we do so through a lens that doesn't just say, okay, here, give the same thing to everybody, but it's a lens that says, historically, we know that this particular community has not been treated well. So let us make certain that we pour additional emphasis into addressing their healthcare disparities, right? So those things that are worse off than other communities, to make certain that we're giving them an opportunity to catch up and live.
No one deserves to go sick and no one to help take care of them.
That's very true.
You have written a book about creating change. What advice would you give young people who want to make a difference in their communities?
I would tell young people who want to make a difference in their communities to do it right now, to start today, not to wait until they reach some age or some educational attainment level, or even to acquire wealth. Lots of people say, I'll give back when I get something. You can give back right now. You can help your neighbor across the street. You can carry somebody's groceries, right? You can tutor kids who are younger than you. You can help inside your own household by doing an extra chore or two, because of the fact that creating change literally means I'm going to show up and be what I believe that the world is missing right now. I'm going to make certain that some way, by virtue of my existence, right, I'm holding the hand of my brother and sister, right, that I'm helping them to turn out better.
My mom and I are currently moving, and I love helping her whenever she tells me that we need to start packing up.
That's great.
Faith often plays a role in leadership and service. How has your faith guided you in your career and the work you do today?
All of it. Sometimes when folks introduce me and they read my bio, it sounds very flashy. And I always say, please understand that is just proof positive of having had praying parents. My parents prayed me through. every aspect of my education, every aspect of my careers. And quite frankly, I prayed too. And so I still do it now. My faith is central to who I am and what I do. I consider the work that I lead now at National Medical Fellowships to be ministry all of its own, and that by doing it, we are ensuring the next generation of healthcare leaders. It is all central to my faith.
I feel faith should have a huge impact in anyone's life, no matter the religion. You have achieved so much in your career. Looking back, what is one lesson you have learned that you think every young person should know?
So as I look back over my career, I love for young people to know fully that sometimes the world may not be ready to receive your brilliance. It may not show up and applaud. We've talked about some of my past positions. We didn't talk about when I was the treasurer of the state of New Jersey. And what I will tell you is no one expected the treasurer of the state to be African American. They certainly didn't expect me to be a woman. And I could tell from their surprise, I was much younger back then. They didn't expect me to be that age. What I will tell you is that we cannot permit the limitations of others to be our limitations. And so I would really want to make certain that young people are encouraged to understand that the world may not always applaud your excellence. Be excellent anyway. Show up anyway. Matter of fact, get there early and stay late. Because what God has placed in you has been placed there for the purpose of the promise for your life. And whenever we attempt to not shine as bright so that we make other people less threatened, right? We dishonor Him, and we cannot afford to do that.
No one would expect a brown girl to become the treasurer of the state, and they didn't even expect Kamala Harris to become the vice president of the United States, a whole nation.
Exactly right.
After reading your bio, I've come up with a question of my own. What inspired you to create the social impact and community investment?
So the social impact and community investment practice was something that I created while I was at what was in the state's largest healthcare system right here in the state of New Jersey. And it really came about as a result of my role in policy. I served as the executive vice president and chief corporate affairs officer at that entity. And I oversaw policy development and government affairs. So what does that mean? That means that whatever the policy agenda was, any changes to legislation, any new legislation that a healthcare system, especially an academic medical center system of that size needed, that I was the person who had to go and create it and get it passed before the legislature and to get it signed by the governor. Well, one of the things that you notice is all of the evidence, all of the studies that point to the fact that our healthcare outcomes really are more impacted by where we live, whether or not we live close to pollutants, right? How clean is our air? How clean is our water? Whether or not we live in a safe environment, in a safe home, right? Or are we under the chronic stress or continuously hearing things that are not safe around us at all times, right? Do we have access to organic, accessible, and affordable food? Do we have work stability, right? Or are we in families which are always in and out of employment? And so what the studies show is that those issues actually impact our health outcome upwards to 80%, while whether or not we're in a doctor's office only impacts our health outcome by 20%. So I started the social impact and community investment practice so that this large-scale academic medical center system will be able to do things like create community greenhouses and give out food to the community, all the while also providing them with a community kitchen so that people understood how to make our traditional foods much more healthy. It also provided a job training opportunity to get more members of the community employed, as well as the fact that we constructed housing, because there's a housing first model to being healthy and strong in order to take care of our unhoused friends and neighbors, right? So that was just some of what we were able to accomplish in my time there. So that practice was created so that the entire system would be able to create affordable housing, feed their neighbors, right? Mitigate for lead, to make certain that young people like yourself have a chance to grow up to be healthy and strong.
Yes, there's something at our church, Cafe 5000. I love to participate and hand out food.
Thank you for your service.
After hearing all this and speaking with you, can I also get free health care?
I love the hustle. Not in this country, not as of yet. But we are going to look to leaders like yourself to grow up, to change that, to make certain that everybody gets to grow up healthy and strong.
This is Lauren and Miss Michellene Davis signing off.